This ain't the first time he been on the show. Come on, man. My brother is here. I say that. I talk about him often, unbeknownst to him, because he doesn't strike me as the type that sit and listens to radio.
I just got Sirius.
You got Sirius XM?
I just got it.
Okay.
Wow, that means you just got a new car?
It's the free trial still.
Okay. Yeah, so you got for 3 months.
Yeah.
Boots Riley is listening to Sirius XM for 3 months.
90 days.
90 days,
That's a long
man.
time.
Yeah.
But it's an honor to have him here for so many different reasons. Just when you come, I always got to reminisce. I know folks don't always like to do that, but I just remember watching this man walk around Oakland, rocking in the neighborhood, and just seemed like even at that time he was a thinking man, you know, even as younger men, you know.
Well, I wasn't walking because I was thinking. I was walking because I didn't have a car.
Yeah, that's true too. Boots Riley was broke, but he wore it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wore it well, man. And so just to watch him become a film creator, producer, film writer. We were talking about people who transitioned in.
I used to throw parties too, and we had y'all come perform.
You remember?
Too, at the Underground Cafe.
Sway Kick Tech?
Yeah.
That's right.
See, he's having you reflect too.
Yo, Boots, what you remember? let's get out of my memory. Let's go into your memory. Yo, that's crazy. That's right.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And that was that was man. Then I think I rushed you with my first record at the Tribe Called Quest concert at San Francisco State.
Yeah.
And you know that's another thing I remember, because I think it was like Tribe Called Quest and Public Enemy, right? And we went to San Francisco State, and we used to volunteer to be Chuck D's security.
Wow.
And I'm little now. I was littler then.
Littler.
And we would pick him up from the airport. He'd be like, okay, y'all would be like, we're your security. And we just did it so we could argue with him.
To argue?
We wanted to debate. You know, we wanted to debate with him. We wanted, you know, and so and then we get into the you know, he would speak and then sometimes do some songs or whatever. And and that was like, I was probably, you know, 18 at that time.
Young dude.
And then later on, when we had the record deal and we were out touring, I ran into him again. And, you know, my hair was because back then I had the high top fade. And my hair was very different and all that. And I came, I was like, you won't remember me. He said, San Francisco State, 1989. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. You know, he knew exactly.
Yo, he has that memory. He's one of those people who could call the year, the date, the whole nine.
Yeah. That's like you, Sway, actually.
Ain't that Boots just reminded me of something I forgot. You know, I ain't that good. Yeah. You know, but wow. So that's how the relationship started with Chuck D and Public Enemy. So y'all eventually went on tour and everything, right?
No, I never went on tour with Chuck, but he was always there for us. There was a time when we had a video for a song called "Taking These," and in it we got people rushing up into what's supposed to be Rockefeller's mansion. We got people throwing the mayor's body in the bay and all that. And you people listening might not remember, but there was the box.
Yeah, the box.
You know,
remember the box?
And we were the first video that they banned.
Okay.
And so
what?
Yeah.
Wow.
They banned it, and they were like, we don't even. You know, we were like trying to make concessions. We'll take those parts out. They were like, no. We think it'll cause unrest or whatever. And then I was like, okay, we'll because Prince had the video with the lyrics, and I was like, we'll do that. We'll just do a black screen and the lyrics. They were like, no, we don't even want the lyrics on there. So I went to a lot of people and said, hey, you know, a lot of other artists that I knew, can you know, make a statement? We want to make a statement that this is wrong. And, you know, and because other stations were following suit because they set the precedent. Yeah. And everybody was scared. Everybody was like, I feel for you, but we're about to release a video and I can't get on the wrong side of that. Chuck was like, didn't let me finish the sentence when I called him. He said, here's my statement. Take it down. You got a pencil?
Wow.
And you know,
That's
Ooh,
Chuck D,
always
that's a
man.
there.
real one.
That's
You
hip
know?
hop. Come on, that's what the culture really is. That's what it's about. How many times were you banned from things because of your music or your album covers?
You know, actually, only a couple times officially, but you know, a lot of times there are things where people are like in positions of gatekeeping where they're like, you know, oh, if I do this, then I'll be in trouble. Those sorts of things. So it never, you know, trickles down to me till years later when they tell me about it.
When they tell you about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Boots Riley is here from the Cool. We got to shout out Pam. Come on, man. Every chance we
What
get.
up, Pam?
Matter of fact, and as listeners might not know, Pam the Funkstress died in 2017. But throughout our whole career, everybody was like, when they see her, you know, you look like Heather B. You know, you look like Heather B. And
Word.
she does and doesn't because I know her. But so when I did walk in, I was like, you know,
I got the same thing.
yeah.
So that's her spirit to me. We always, I don't even know how, I don't remember when we all met, but they were like sisters. It's weird. I can't, and it felt like I knew her, like from some time. I don't know, that energy. If you believe in that kind of spiritual energy and everything, somehow it's just my spiritual sister.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What are your beliefs? I never knew that. Like your spirituality. Did you practice anything? Religion?
I say this. So my father, when he was, when my grandmother was a Pentecostal preacher.
Okay.
On my father's side. When he was 12, he went into town. They were living in Durham, North Carolina. He went into town to run an errand and ran into the NAACP and got hyped and showed up in church, stood up, because my grandmother wasn't the pastor. She was just one of the preachers, stood up, told the other pastor, hey, we need to get involved in the civil rights movement. This is what's happening in the world. Our church needs to be involved in that. And the pastor said, how dare you come in here blaspheming and saying that we should get involved in worldly events. So what people don't know is that often the black church in general gets credit for being involved in the civil rights movement. But the reason they had to have the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was to try to get the black church involved in the civil rights movement. But by and large, the black church was not involved in the civil rights movement for the most part. So anyway, the pastor said to him, you know, how dare you come in here blaspheming, blah, blah, blah. And in church, my father at 12 years old said, well, if Jesus don't want to be part of my freedom, I don't want no part of Jesus. And so the pastor kicked the whole family out of church. But so my father had 11 brothers and sisters. His mother had same thing, 11 or 12 brothers and sisters. Father, so basically half the church was gone. So
Wow. That sounds like a film.
so they quickly let everybody back in, and my father was like, I don't want to go back. So I was not raised religious at all.
Okay.
You know. And but what I was raised with was that you are supposed to do right.
Yeah.
By people, that the values that often various religions put forward are ones that came to me in terms of what are you going to do here on this earth, right? That you can't just be good inside yourself and think pure thoughts and then everything is cool because of the afterlife. You got to change the way the world is right now. And so that's what I was brought up with.
Man, I love it. Boots Riley, and your music has reflected that from Kill My Landlord on till now, you know, and so I commend you on that. Tracy Bartlow sent a picture of Boots and I. You see that picture? That picture was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Who's Tracy?
Tracy Bartlow is
she's a dancer and a photographer from the Bay Area.
Okay.
She pop locker, and
Dope.
she had a picture of us that I did not remember from being at a record store.
I remembered it.
Back when Sway had dreads.
Remember that? Boots, they didn't know what I was doing. 40 came 10 years later.
You know what?
40 came 15 years later.
Yeah. So no, that was definitely, we've been going back a long time since Oakland High, but it's really, going till now, and in everything that I'm doing. Though speaking of those values, that's basically the thing that guides me and got me involved in more radical organizations that said, yes, we want to change the world, and this is exactly what we think needs to be changed about the world, that we need to have a world in which the people democratically control the wealth that we create with our labor, right? And so I put that into all of my work. I'm a communist, and and that means exactly that right there. And right now, we're in this period in which a lot of people are deciding that they want to figure out how to change the world around them, right? Right now, in the United States, for over the last 3 years, has been roughly 3,000 strikes in the United States.
3,000.
If you go on this thing, paydayreport.com, they've tracked all the strikes since March 2020. And it's been roughly 3,000 strikes, and meaning that we're in the biggest strike wave the U.S. has seen since the 1970s. And some of these strikes are, for everything from the Waffle House to fast food to 30,000 carpenters striking on the East Coast to right now 160,000 actors striking and 11,000 writers striking with this thing. And some of these things are just about wages and people getting their fair share of the wealth that's going on. But some of them are about changing bigger things. In Oakland, California, just a month ago, the teachers went on strike. They had definitely a wage demand, and they won that, and they stayed out on strike. And people were like, why are y'all still on strike? It's because they were going for these common good proposals. Yeah. So Oakland has a lot of homeless people. So there's also a lot of homeless kids coming to school. And so the teachers, one of their strike demands was they need showers. They need to figure out a way to get shelter for these kids. This is something that teachers are doing and demanding that this, and they're doing it with their strike. They also won these common good proposals that said parents and teachers get to decide what's done with the budget, right? So these are things where people aren't just saying we need more piece of the pie, which they do, but they want to shape the world around them. And the same thing with with what's going on with the SAG and WGA strike, the writers and actors. Often we get technology rolled out to us like, hey, we're gonna have this technology where we listen to you in your car, and we're and we can see you, we monitor your every move, and you're not gonna like it. You're gonna make art about it, you're gonna talk about it and all that, but we're still doing it. Yeah. So it's all good. And that's how technology has been rolled out to us. In this case, the people involved in it, the writers and the actors, are saying, oh, fuck that. We're going to shut it all the way down. And then you're going to have to decide whether to make less profit or no profit at all. Right? So we're not going to let you do that. We want to say in what's happening with this technology. And so in that way, people are taking it's not just about wages. People are taking control of what the future looks like. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I haven't seen it from that bigger, broader view. Right now is the time when it has to be done. Yeah. Because there's no dollar value yet on AI. Right? I didn't make that clear. What they're fighting, what the technology they're fighting around is AI. Yeah. AI, the proposal that Hollywood wants, that the studios want to have is, so let's say you're a background actor, you come in for one day, get paid for a day, get scanned, they can use you for the next 50, 100, indefinitely years and put your image all in in movies. That's how they want to do it.
Without paying you nothing.
Without paying you. You got
paid
a day.
that one time. You got your day rate.
That one day.
That's just your union scale.
And you know, there are people, that's how they pay the bills. They got tricked into moving to LA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can't pay rent, and they got to do this background work in order to pay. It's not all just actors and writers who are getting paid a lot. The strikes are, some of it is for the folks on the bottom rung.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, and in this case, even lead actors, they want to make it so that, you know, they scan you. You've been in one movie, they own the movie, so therefore they can use that and put you in the 30
sequel.
other movies.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Have you doing things you don't want to do. Have you, you know, whatever. I mean, I'll put it like this. There's one thing on the worker side of it that I'm talking about, but as a human being, I don't want to be in a world where culture is created that way. Because all AI can do is copy what's already been done, right? It can only look at other things that have been done and do that and mash it up.
Yeah.
You know, it can't be innovative. It can't create a new thing, which is that feeling you get like when you listen to somebody come raw, you like, oh, I did. And it's not always something brand new that you never heard. It's like looking at it from a different angle that you hadn't thought about that before. It's like a good joke. It's like, you know, just that human experience that creates innovation. And they want to make culture so where it's cheaper for them, but worse for the people making it and worse for the people consuming the culture.
Yeah.
You know, and think about generations growing up in something like that. Who grow up in this machine-made culture. You know what? And they have more direct controls on exactly what it says. Oh, this has this nuance that makes you feel this way.
Yeah.
Let's take that out. Type that in. Take that out. You know that they can
manipulate
basically program folks, right? And that sounds like some tinfoil hat thing, but they're actually saying that's what they want to do.
That's what they want to do.
Wow. That's why the legislation is going to be so important around AI.
Yeah.
Because we won't know what the laws are to create those parameters. I also wonder then if this incentivizes more thespians and film directors to own their studios, to own their like production companies. You know, thinking about a Tyler Perry, a Reese Witherspoon, you know, who had her production company because of her experience as a woman within the industry. Maybe there's a creative opportunity for us as owners.
Well, let's say this: by the time you get to be a Tyler Perry or a Reese Witherspoon, you've created so many works that had investors investing tens and hundreds of millions of dollars into your thing. And in the same way that even Jeff Bezos with Amazon, he controls Amazon, but there's a whole bunch of other people that own it. There's Vanguard Fund, there's BlackRock Fund, that's just the way it all works. If you're dealing with a lot of money, then you got a lot of owners, you know. So, you know, I don't know the setup with Tyler Perry exactly, but you know, you're dealing with all that. That's not going to be an answer for, you know, the millions of artists that there are out there, the millions of actors. The best way to do things, because even then, look, you remember like in the 90s, there was a lot of black movies where the happy ending was everybody moved to Atlanta. Remember that? Like, oh, we moved to Atlanta, and that's you know, because that was the idea. The idea they were selling to us is that all we got to do that capitalism isn't the problem. That all we need is black capitalism. We need black business owners, black police, black mayors, and it'll all be good. And that's what Atlanta stood and stands for, right? But as we can see, you could go to Atlanta and you got some people with big houses, and you got a lot of people struggling and having to hurt each other in order to just survive, right? Right? Having to hustle. So that what we need to do is have a situation in which people really own those things. So can you have a whole, not just even one studio that is collectively owned? That would be a step. But can you have a whole economy that's collectively owned? And you can.
Yeah. You can.
You can. They're not going to give it to you.
Okay.
Right? It's going to take organizing. It's going to take, and these strikes, these strike waves are a first step in that, where people are realizing, okay, we know that power, that wealth makes power. We know that. Matter of fact, that's what we're told when we see somebody with a lot of money, or even a rapper that makes a lot of money, we kind of cheer for him because we feel like that's us getting power. Right. Right. But in reality, the rest of us don't have that power, and they don't even have as much power as we think they do. And what's happening is people are realizing, okay, if wealth makes power, what creates the wealth? We create the wealth. We're the ones, working on the job. That's what creates that wealth. So all we got to do is withhold our labor and be like, collectively, we're shutting things down. This is the setup we want. Now, that's happening in little ways all over the place. And as it gets bigger, it's going to get more coordinated. Yeah. And where we can shut whole industries down, right? And demand a different setup. And at some point, that's going to keep growing, and there will be, major conflicts. Okay. Like at some point, people will just be like, at some point, y'all will just walk back in serious and tell everybody, like, no, we own this place. Yeah. This is ours. Right? And but they're going to, there's going to be a fight.
Yeah, there's going to be a fight. What's that, Heather? What's that? The whip. Okay, so Boots Riley, give this man a round of applause, man. So I think the public is so interested in the way you just broke this down. Give so much insight. What do you see in the foreseeable future with this strike, and how far are you willing to go?
Well, let's be clear right now. With the writer's strike and the actor's strike, what's come out from multiple anonymous sources from reputable news agencies is that the studios and the streamers, they have diversified interests, right? They own other things. They have other industries that they're working in. They're worried that this strike is encouraging people to strike in other industries and in other parts of the world. Okay. And it is, right?
What are some of those industries?
Manufacturing of technology, other things. Yeah. I mean, you even got look right now, 160,000 actors, 11,000 writers. It's about to be 390,000 UPS workers that have 97% of them voted to go on strike.
Ford, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening.
We've been talking about that.
You got all Amazon drivers in California have gone on strike. So you got all these things happening. The studios are they said, look, we want to wait till the writers are being evicted from their homes. Then we're going to come to them and negotiate.
Wow.
So they're trying to, what that's called is trying to break a union because they want to make it to where it happens for a long time and then there's not that many gains. And so, but what they've underestimated is that people aren't just doing this. People are ready to fight. They're ready to keep going. They're ready to shut it all the way down. And so they're going to try that, but it's still not going to work. And they're going to have to come back with their concessions that are going to, and so it's big. If they're that worried about the writers and the actors, that's because they know that it's a new time in the world where people are, are figuring out that it's not just going out on the street. Look, it used to be, you know, even artists would be like, all we got to do is let our voice be heard. We got to tell the truth. I'm speaking the truth with my art.
Yeah.
Didn't do a damn thing, right? Then people were like, well, what if we could get millions of people out on the street? During the Iraq War, we had millions upon millions of people all over the world out in the street saying, we don't want this war. Didn't do a damn thing, right? Because freedom is not just about what you can speak. It's about the power, what you have the power over. And under capitalism, we have the power by withholding our labor, right? And that's what's happening right now. And people are seeing that all over the country, and they're scared.
Yeah.
So that's why they want to try to make an example out of this strike, and it's not going to work.
Boots Riley, man, give this man a big round of applause, man. Thank you. Thank you. Shit, I went to high school with him.
Bars. Well, why you ain't say it?
he says it way better than me. Boots been Boots since then.
All love.
Yeah, man, that's amazing the way you broke that down, man. Come back anytime, bro.
Thank you. I will. I'll be back tomorrow and the next day.
Anytime, bro. You had me and King Tech perform at the Underground.
He had to remind Sway, I gave you a check.
Yo, that's so fun.
There might not have been a check.
I'm just joking. I know. Back then it was different. You did it for the love.
Right.
When they asked you why you did it.
Here's some water, man.
And
just
a banana.
Yeah, and a banana. Boost, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I can't express enough
Thank
how
you
proud I
me.
am.
I'm proud of you,
Yeah, man. We in here, baby.
People don't believe me when I tell them I know you, so I got to come on here just so they believe.
They don't believe me when I tell them we grew up together. Yo, you know, some of the common folks we have in common. And I was telling them,
that they have in common.
I can't speak on, you know, certain situations, but I was speaking to people, you know. And they had a beautiful time listening to my stories. Because they see you a certain way, and I was like, yeah, man, this guy is amazing. They was like, wow, okay.
All right.
Boots Riley, man.
Cool.
Thank you, brother.
Thank
I appreciate
you very
man.
much. Thank you, y'all.
Absolutely.